star troupe from Delhi, please on the stage.
Hello everyone, I am Damini Bisht, an artist from New Delhi. Thank you so much for having me and my team in your beautiful celebration. Today I am going to present the first piece, which is called Payelia, Anklets. Payelia is the track from the debut album of Ravi Shankar Collective. It is an original composition based on Rag Puriya Dhanashri, which blends a traditional Indian classical sound with contemporary fusion sensibilities and features a stellar ensemble of artists who have performed on the track. It is a dedication to the sublime energy of Kathak and the powerful sounds of the Pakhavaj. We call it music that dance. Performing artist, Damini Bisht, Asta Sijaria, Himani Gautam, Parishi Sharma and Shreya Raghuvanshi. I hope you will enjoy as much we will enjoy doing it for you. Thank you so much.
बैटरी लगा
Hello. Give a big hand to the beautiful dancers. What is this dance called? Kathak. So once again, for this mesmerizing dance, please give a big hand once again, because they deserve. I would like to congratulate all the tutors and all those who have made this day possible. So thank you very much. So we are at the right track and right place now. Before we go into serious matters, for many of you do not know, only one thing you knew, that centenary year. All the provincials from India and all the representatives from India, novice masters, counselors, and the seniors, those who have worked here, all those are invitees, and all those lucky guys, those who are female ones, they are very lucky ones to be here in this evening, because you are witnessing certain event. The accident took place in 1992. That accident made this day to be possible for you and me, that we can add something more. Again, to make it this evening more feasible, easy going, we would like to welcome each one of you personally. But make it more personal, I would like to call upon a few names that may help you and me to understand who are the dignitaries at the dais. First of all, I call upon Father John Baptist, General Councillor of the Capuchin Friars Minor. He resides in Rome. He is an inspiring soul for you and me, for all the provincials in India. He is a guiding force to give us the message, the touching message for you and me. We have nothing more, nothing less. I would like to call upon Father Lawrence, Vice President of CCMSI, to welcome him with bouquet. थोड़ा थोड़ा ताली बजाते रहिए. Father John Baptist हमारे जनरल काउंसलर हैं. Second most important person for our country, Brother Walden Rodriguez, President of CCMSI. He is a guiding force during all the Corona, COVID, Omicron time. He never left any stone unturned, but he was so busy making each one of us to run about on the toes. So he is here, so we welcome him. And I call upon Father Sky George, Provincial Minister of Krishna Jyoti Province, Northwest India.
जा भाई.
Thank you. We have got another great personality, Father Stanislas Allah SG, a resource person for this evening. He is, yesterday we were discussing about him. Somebody said he is Jesuit, SJ, Sab Janane Wala. But heart to heart, he is very much Franciscan and the Capuchin also. I was narrating, my whole family members, perhaps 4 or 5 Jesuits are in my family members, so I was making it more comfortable. So now we'd like to make it more comfortable with a bouquet of flowers for Ratish Thomas, Pusto Supreme Jyoti Custody, Delhi. Thank you, Father, for accepting our invitation. Here we have got Reverend Brother Pew George, Superior of St. George's Community, and all the community members for giving us and making us more comfortable the way we are moving at the playground, the way we are climbing on these hills. and the way we have entered into this campus, the way they have accommodated us. All credit goes to the Pew George, Superior, and all the committee members. Till now we are not feeling anything. We feel that we are one with you. So it is very nice that you are also Franciscan, more than Franciscan, that we think about. All the provincials and the members, those who are present, they are talking about the community over here. And the way you are giving the education, maybe one of the toppest schools in India. And that is the greatest thing. Once upon a time there was a meeting here, and the beautiful thing they have presented. And one of the leading schools in ICC and IAC department, this school demands more. So on behalf of all the provincials, all the Capuchins in India, all those who are present here, one by one I cannot call all the committee members, but on behalf of all the committee members, I would like to call upon Brother Pew George to receive the bouquet of flowers, and our message and our well wishes, everything is to all the members. So welcome, brother. I would like to call upon Karuna Karka, so Secretary of the CCMSI. Thank you, brother. Your face shows that at any time we are welcome. Here we are talking about the novitiate. So we have got few novice masters. Brother Jeevan Temello, Holy Trinity Province, Karnataka. I would like to call upon in front of us and receive the bouquet from Brother George Anthony, Provincial Minister of St. Joseph Province, Kerala. Jeevan Temello. He is a novice master from Holy Trinity Province, Karnataka. So thank you, Father. Another novice master, Brother Thadisek, St. Delhi's Province, North India. I call upon Father Olvin Dias, Provincial Minister of Holy Trinity Province, Karnataka, to give a bouquet of flowers. Another novice master is among us, Father Thomas Kanjira Panam, the Joseph Province, Kerala. I would like to call upon Father Reni Pustos of Nirmala City, Northeast India. We have got another great personality, another novice master, Jaya Sheelan, Mary Queen of Peace Province, Tamil Nadu. I call upon Father Prasad Cyprian, Provincial Minister of St. Francis Province, Kerala. My dear friends, well-wishers, benefactors, and lucky persons, I would like to give each one of you a bouquet of flower. And that flower, the big bouquets, all the dignitaries have received. You may be waiting to receive the same. I would like to present to you, each one of you, a flower called gratitude. The name gratitude itself is a great thing, and this gratitude I give to you because I said you are a lucky one and you are here among us, supporting, praying, without knowing also when the invitation might have gone to you, you began praying. So thank you very much. Here we go, without wasting much time. As I said, for this evening we have got a great personality, Reverend Father Stanislas Alas. His input we are ready to receive now. I said he is Sab Janane Wala. He may let us know and he will mesmerize by his talk. As I said, he is not Franciscan, but heart and head and mind, everything is. a Franciscan in spirit. Who is Father Stanislaus? Stanislaus Allah belongs to Andhra Jesuit province and currently he teaches at Vidyajyoti College of Theology, Delhi. Stan hails from Warangal, Telangana and got a licentiate in moral theology from Alfonsiana, Rome, and a doctorate from Boston College, USA. He presented papers at various national and international conferences and published in the tablet Civilta Catholica, Asian Horizons, Jivandhara, Jivan and Vidyajyoti, and in some online publications. He gave retreats and recollections to the clergy and religious in India and outside. He is called Father Stanislaus. Without much wasting time, I would like to hand over this mic, welcoming him with a lot of applause that he should come on the stage and begin his inspiring talks to us. Welcome, Father.
Dear friends, I especially greet Father John Baptist, the Assistant General from Rome, Father Walden Rodriguez, President of the Conference of the Capuchins, and all dear friends. I would like to begin with this popular prayer attributed to Romero, but it's originally written by Ken Untana. Maybe you have heard this any number of times, but it will give us the focus and the background. Prophets of a future, not our own. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is even beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's word. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. No confession brings perfection. No pastoral work brings wholeness. No program accomplishes the church's mission. No set of goals and objectives include everything. This is what we are about. We plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it's a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that's the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future, not our own. So here I am with a daunting task. I think it's sheer injustice to keep my paper of that beautiful dance presentation by, there is no way I can compare it with these Kathak dancers, but it's wonderful to be here and to see all of you, Capuchin brothers. You just tell me after 20-25 minutes or whenever you are tired, then I can close in 5 minutes from then. I'm from Warangal. I was born in the jungles of Warangal, very close to Basta. Tigers were closer to my house and then the neighbors nearby. In fact, they used to go around when I was a child. My dad was a Hindu convert from Guntur, and then he lived kind of a semi-mystical life, and then so he wanted to live all the way alone in the forest, obviously with my mom and children. So I have had a wonderful life, very, very exotic life in a sense, with the jungle, with all the wild life. And then I studied in Warangal, but my dad used to bring lives of saints. One of the first I read maybe when I was 10, 12 is Life of Francis of Assisi and of Antony. So when I was 10, I knew Porciuncula, Damiano, all these words I knew. What is Damiano, what is Porciuncula, what is St. Francis, and who are the brothers, and then what they were discussing and all that. Simply no idea, but these are raw names. Then by accident I joined the Jesuits, and my sister married to a family that was a Capuchin parish. So my family is part of that. And then I knew many priests, Father Oswald Pratap, Father Thomas, and then Father Avito, the one who endlessly walked. Father Avito walked all his life from any place to any place, the entire diocese. If he has to walk 50 kilometers, he will start 2 days, 1 day before. If he has to go 100 kilometers, he will start 3 days before. But he never took a bus or a train or an auto or a rickshaw. So he walked the entire diocese, wherever he was, he walked. So everyone knows him. And the warden where I stayed, I lived with in the boarding, was a wonderful diocesan priest. But these are exemplary people, they lived exemplary lives. So I like Francis of Assisi from my childhood, and St. Anthony is our family patron, that way familiar with this. And later, when we were novices, one father, Winde, Jesuit, he gave us a book, A New Kind of a Fool by Christopher Coelho. So as a novice, I devoured that book. And later, when I went to Hyderabad and saw Father Christopher Coelho and asked him, do you have any of those copies? So he gave me this raw copy, the incomplete version. So the picture is complete, only it was not bounded properly. So he himself gave me this when I was a scholastic. So I read it perhaps many sections, many number of times. And then I never thought I will go to Rome. I was sent to Rome for my studies, and then the first place I wanted to go and spend and do my retreat was Assisi. So I went and stayed in the Capuchin house, the right hand side, and then I used to walk around and drinking water everywhere, wherever I could. And so I loved the Franciscan spirituality in many, many ways, though the Jesuits have different emphasis. So given this time, what I would like to say is, Francis has a message for us all, especially to celebrate now what we are doing now. Sentire et gustare, words from Ignatius. I think you should remember those two words now. Sentire et gustare. From yesterday, you are in a romantic film world, all the Capuchins. From yesterday morning, we had a wonderful mass at Sardana, and then we had the evening gathering here, and then we had mass today. So in fact, they are living in a, like Avatar. Almost all of you are watching Avatar. So we are living history. We are simply enjoying this celebration, the 100 years. So it's a pilgrimage. Another word I would like to add is a pilgrimage. So we are living this pilgrimage of this 100 years, the celebration of our 100 years, the Shatabdi. In India, the time is measured by flowers and the rains. Yatna Varsham. How many rains old are you? There is no other word for time calculation in India. How many times the flower blossomed in our village after you are born? That is Abdi, Dashabdi, Shatabdi. After you, flowers has blossomed 100 times. That is why you are 100 flowers old, not 100 years old. 100 times it rained once you are born. 100 years, 100 rains. Varsham is that. And then there are many other words, I can go on telling stories. But so 100 times flowers have blossomed in this place. So we have a lot to remember. It's a time to so in this pilgrimage, we have come all the way to north, to the hills, to the places where we could have this exotic experience. We are living in a fantasy, really. So just to be here, to be in this present moment is a gift itself. And we are here to get lost, to lose ourselves in this place. Maybe some of you have seen these sacred vessels, 100-year-old vessels are there. Speak to them. Speak to the trees. Speak to the birds. If you like to gossip, go and speak to the birds. They will tell you a lot of stories. Speak to a tree. And we are in almost like Monte Subiaco, where Francis used to speak to the birds and the animals. So we are here. And this is where novice wrestled with fundamental questions. Where did they live? Why did they leave everything? What did they live for? What did they die for? What were their dreams? What was their world? They came from faraway places. It was a very different world 100 years ago. They came from Eurocentric world, the Western Christianity, on a mission to preach Christ, and it was a pagan world. We are in a pagan India, and then they came. The religion was the horizon at the time for all the people across the world. And people had very few options. Young men did not have many options to choose like today. So many young men wanted to join military or to be a teachers, to be mechanics possibly, and many wanted to be clergy or the religious. So we get all these people who came with great dreams. So these people who came 100 years ago had a dream, and they tried to live that dream here. So why did they come? Because they came with that dream. So we need to speak to them, speak to those novices who were here from the Italian hills or the plains, the cities and the villages. Let's speak to a brother who made shoes and was mending the shoes again and again. Let's speak to the boring teachers who are buried here, and the games they were playing, the music they composed, and the poor they helped. Imagine the number of young people who carried materials from the plains to this hill. It was an uphill task. It was an uphill task. If they were carrying fruits, possibly they finished half of them by the way they reached this place. So that was the life they lived. So we are here to relive those moments of these young men, their dreams, their hopes and their aspirations, and their great capacity to become Franciscans in their lives. Let us be like those children in The Little Prince. The children want to live their life, but the adults all the time look at things with greater measurements. When the children see flowers, they see flowers. But the adults will see the land and who can buy and what's the price of this land. So we need to become children to enjoy the flowers as they are. We are having fantastic oxygen here. Let's take this refreshing feelings. Let's go through those things and see. Let's look at the sky as the sky. Let's see the flowers as flowers, because Franciscan spirituality fundamentally takes us to the roots of who we are. So we are here, and these days are nothing less than revelation. God is revealing God's self to us again and again. So this is Epiphany. So we are at that moment where God is speaking to us. We have to relive those moments, those experiences, and let God reveal to God's self and who we are and what we are invited to be. Francis is a parable of God. I don't know if anyone described him with that way. Francis is a parable of God. First 1200 years, we know the church had so many ups and downs. And then we have a wanderer, a person who was wandering in his life and who defied descriptions and definitions. Francis defied descriptions, definitions that normally tell who we are. So he simply lived a very different life according to the Gospels. He just lived like that. And as a child, to go and play with the sparrows and take the water as it is, see the water as water, see the sheep as sheep. And he lived a life that is filled with wonder. He begged and shared whatever he had. So he lived a very simple, noble, exemplary life. He did not want to impress anyone. He enjoyed, he relished every moment of his life. Some years ago, I was giving a talk on Year of Mercy, the theme of mercy. Something that struck me was this. We were in a place, in the garden, there was a mango tree. Imagine there was a mango tree and a couple of children came to steal mango trees. Immediately, the watchman or the teacher will take these children, the thieves from outside, take to the father's room or the principal's room. What will the principal do? Or rather, what are the children expecting? The children are waiting to get thrashed up. They get blows, a few blows or whatever, and then they have to go away. Now imagine you are the principal or the priest or the sister. You are not doing that. You defied the expectations of the children. The children are unfortunately caught. They are waiting. Please beat us and send us because we have a lot to steal, we have a lot to go. Please finish it fast. You tell them, no. You have come, you stole mangoes, I am not going to punish you. You take the mangoes, I will give you some more mangoes. Next time if you need mangoes, come, I will give you. The children will not sleep that night and for the next 10 days because you defied their expectations. This is how a sister will behave. This is how a principal will behave. You simply changed the idea of the person by that. That's what Francis was. Francis was not begging for himself. He was begging and sharing with someone else. That's something unusual. Jesus' examples in the Gospels all are like that. You never expected him to do that and he does it. So that is what it is to wander and to live a life of wonder and to defy all descriptions and definitions. He is a parable of God, and Christianity needed that. People were trying to live a perfection life, but perfection not through rituals and regulations and rules, but in a very different way. Abandoning yourself, you become holy and you become a complete person. And in him, the world discovered who a human person is, who God is. The divinity and the humanity which embraced in Francis reveal a lot. In Francis we know what it is to be a human being. In him we know the personhood, the subjecthood, the agency. I make decisions, but I will be a very different person. So he made a very difficult decisions, and that's the very capacity to expand itself in a very different way. And in that way, he gave a new definition of Christianity. The crib was not a small thing. He brought down Jesus amidst us. So we have God among us, and God lives with us in poverty and in humility. So we have a new idea of God, and we have a new idea of a person and the relationship between them. So in Francis, let's continue to see that parable that is a revelatory parable, and incarnation becomes closer, and then we get an inch closer to God. The world today, I wouldn't go much time on that. There are so many blessings and there are so many challenges. The blessings of the last 100 years, last 1,000 years, we can see all the magical, wonderful things that we know. We have freedom, greater freedom. Many people have got rid of slavery. We are in many ways. So with our dignity and respect and rights and human dignity, we have a little better in that way. and then the technology, medicine. People did not know what it was, an injection 100 years ago. There was no IV, there was not the way we have the medicine. And so that way there are so many blessings and there are so many challenges. The biggest one is othering processes, religious fundamentalism and the socio-cultural economic processes. All of them are doing this othering, the others, we and the other. It's going on in a expanding speed. I'm not going to go into that, but just it's a big thing. So we have religious fundamentalism and God has become irrelevant. I was giving a treat to the clergy of Warangal Diocese. In the room there was a inverter and immediately it struck me. God is like inverter today. I can live my life on the normal way, but in case the current fails, I need you. So you need an inverter somewhere nearby. Don't go far away, I need you, I might require you, but I will try to manage without you. So we don't need inverter default because electricity is there. But in case something happens, so people in the world are living like that. We really don't need God. But in case something happens, we might need your help. So when we deal with the major questions, we look to God. Otherwise, we are managing and we are planning and we have advanced in a way. People are ignoring, bypassing, or bracketing God in a big way at a religious level. And then there are huge problems with democracy, with the governance, with the participation and corporates and the power and the sanctity and the dignity of the people, rights, ecological crisis, so geopolitical implications. There are huge problems, just be aware of that. Globalization of indifference, Pope Francis used this many times. Globalization of indifference. People simply are indifferent to the other. 50 years ago, in our social analysis, the priests were telling us, or the teachers used to tell us, there is oppression. There are oppressed and the oppressor. Today we don't have oppressors. We have marginalized. When there was a landlord and when he needed workers, there was an oppression. But today, landlord doesn't need workers at all. We can live as though the poor people don't exist in the world. So they are marginalized. They are bypassed. They are a burden to they become a burden to humanity. We don't even need you. You can live if you want, but the world doesn't really require you. You require your work, require your place. So that kind of globalization of indifference we can see. And in religious life we have many, many crises, adintra and extra, internally and externally. And so we have lots of conferences, seminars, discussions, we can go on. And synodality is trying to give a new life to the entire church, facing clericalism and trying to confront it. And clergy and the religious have many, many challenges. But the mantra that from synodality we get is to listen, to speak, to learn and to discern. They are wonderful things. If we can all learn in some form or the other, that will be extraordinary. Now, just one point I thought of for today, a special one is, do novices wrestle with the big questions? Do the novices really wrestle, fight and with the big questions in their lives? Who are the novices who came 100 years ago to our novitiate? They came with their own idea of religion, Christianity, missions, to be a dedicated person as a priest and a religious. They came with that and they wrestled with those questions. And today we have a very different world. And what are those things that our novices wrestle with? We are the novices in a symbolic way, in an emblematic way. We are the novices. What are the values and what are the virtues that we are wrestling with? Put it the other way, what are those that cloud us or eclipse us from being fully free, authentic and responsive and people of integrity? And so what are those things that block us in some form or the other? So here I have some small examples. So do people really, where do we come from? And how do we form them? How do we form ourselves? There are many, many theories around that. So the young people come with great ambitions, great expectations, and they wanted to dedicate themselves. But there are so many issues that are coming in between. One of them is the mantra of success. That's the only one key I wanted to look at today. And Francis will be the one who will give us a very different lens to look at. So, we all sincerely want to form ourselves, but somewhere something is not going well. Not that everything is going wrong. We are trying to instruct, so we give information, we give the courses, the skills, the knowledge, all those resources that we try to give to the people in formation, including ourselves. But somehow many other things are getting into our hearts, our thoughts, our minds. So somehow we are not we expect to be. I have a couple of examples. I went to see Mata Amrutanandamayi. I couldn't meet her, but I met the secretary, Neil Rosna, a Chicago person. I spoke to him. The first question he asked me, I had some questions about healthcare. So he told me, so you are a Jesuit, you are a priest, that's wonderful. I have one question for you. Have you ever spent some time in the presence of a person who influenced you? Have you ever spent some time in the presence of somebody who has that overarching experience, that overwhelming experience? I said, I did my novitiate, I had novice master, I go to spiritual guide, I go for the... No. Have you ever lived in the presence of someone who simply charmed you, who, entangled you, or ensnared you, who trapped you? Very difficult. That's the difference between today's formation and the elder ones. Francis of Assisi, you need to spend a few days, little time with him, you will be a different person. Same with all the mystics and the saints and the martyrs that we have. If you spend a few days with any of these mystics in any religion, you will become a very different person. Whether Ignatius, whether Mother Teresa, whether Francis of Assisi, any of those things. And in India we have many rishis. Many people say same thing about those who meet Ramana Maharshi. They go to Tiruvannamalai with lots of questions, but after spending some time in his presence, everything evaporates. So what happens is, it's like in computer, reformatting takes place. Your big questions will change, some of them evaporate, and you are a reformatted person. That happens only individually. The difficulty with us is, we have groups of people to be formed. We have 10, 15, 20, 30 in a batch, and so you have one novice master, and he's trying to do through the courses, through the programs, through the packages, but this doesn't happen. That living in the person of someone, you go to Shivananda in Rishikesh. So people lived with those people and Chinmayananda who lived there. So once you live with them, you wrestle with the core questions, the values in light of God, and then you become a transformed person. That is what's supposed to happen in the novitiate or wherever it is. Does it happen is a big question. So the formation and instructions, we have different words for that. We try to be formators, and all the formators try to do all that. But does it become an experience? And then people do have experiences. Ironically, we send people back to have the experiences. People have seen poor people. People have lived with people who had difficulties. You may have a grandfather who was a very devout person. You may have a neighbor who struggled with poverty. You may have been with someone. But again, we send in the novitiate to go and experience poverty, experience difficulties. People will go and have a reflection and come back, but they go untouched. They will have a reflection, they will be able to write a poem on that, but finally, it doesn't change people. And again, they get scandalized. My neighbor did not get up on time, so I am scandalized. You have seen 9 people getting up on time, you are not edified, you are worried about the one guy who did not do something and you are scandalized. So somehow, we are not allowing at the core of our level to be changed. City of Joy author, Dominic Lapierre, he died recently. He had a beautiful experience. When he was doing research in Calcutta with the poor for that book, City of Joy, he has seen people who did not have water. So, he lived with many people who were going miles and miles to carry some water. And we have seen that in the villages. And he said, now I know how precious water is. I value water, and when I shave, I don't leave the tap on. Maybe I'm in a 5-star hotel in New York or in Paris, but now I know how precious it is. I just take how much water I require, I close the tap. Now this is what an experience that changes. I have seen any number of people who did not have enough water, but when I wash my plate, I don't know how much water I waste. I could wash that plate with a third of the water that I use today, anytime. How come, after seeing so many people going miles to carry water, why do I still waste water when I wash my clothes, when I wash my plate? Why doesn't it happen? Because the formation doesn't touch at the depth of ourselves. A Buddhist monk will know that it has touched me. So that's what the whole meditation. Do you know how to cut vegetables? You have been cutting vegetables, but go and again practice. You need maybe 10 years to attentively cut vegetables. That takes time. That's what meditations are for. That's what Gurukula is meant for. So somehow we go through formation, but it doesn't touch people. So Thich Nhat Hanh, again a mystic who died, I was very fortunate to attend his meditations in 1997 for the Jisput took me to India International Center, Delhi. He started that conference with a beautiful sentence. Has the happiest day in your life come? And the beauty of this meditation is he spoke about 40-50 sentences for 1 hour. After one sentence, there is a disciple whom that bangs the gong until the gong is over, silence, then one sentence, silence, one sentence. So about 30-40 sentences he gave for 1 hour. Maybe I spoke already 1,000 sentences by now. So, but the point is, he said, if the happiest day in your life has not come in the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 years, possibly it will never come. Because we simply don't live in the present. We are all the time preparing now so that from one day I will start living my life. One day I will get up, one day I will rest well, one day I will happily get up in the morning, one day I will enjoy my coffee, one day I will prepare for my class, one day I will go to the office coolly and work whole day coolly. But now I am busy. I am busy preparing for that day. So people are all the time thinking of either the past or the future, but they are not living in the present. So that's his whole famous meditation is walking meditatively, walking lightly and all those things. No? Being aware in the present is extremely difficult task. If that can, somehow it can get into our formation, being aware where I am, what is happening to me. He says the happiness is yours. So formation somehow, those things escape. We get a lot of reflections, scriptural comments, then we meditate on that, we contemplate on that, we will be able to give sharings and prayers and all those things we can do, but they go untouched. The same gospel that touched so many saints, so many mystics and martyrs, somehow it's good enough, but somehow we don't go far enough from there. So how do we handle ourselves? So the formation itself has to be revamped in a big way. Now the key is, one of the things that I touched me so much is the sister who was arrested in Ranchi, Mother Teresa's sister, for a false accusation or a case about in that case. Many of us had problems, priests and nuns, religious, church leaders, and all of them are fighting their cases in the systems. You know what the Mother Teresa was worried about when Bishop Mascarenhas, when he went to see her, she was crying. The bishop said, "We are very sorry, we could not support you, we could have come long ago, we are with you completely, the whole India is praying for you, we are all with you." She was not worried about whether we are with her, whether we are praying. She was crying for one reason. I brought bad name for the church in India. That's what she was crying for. How many priests and nuns and bishops cried for the bad name they brought for India, for the church in India? She was crying because I brought bad name for the church in India. People expected a sister to bring good name. The name of Christ should shine because of what I do, but I brought bad name. Though she was falsely accused and then things are very different. But at the conscience level, she was wrestling with a very different question than the others are fighting. The others are saying, I was innocent, I was not wrong, and I was caught up, and where are you all, and when is my case coming up? So we are operating at a very different level. There is a real disciple. She knew from Matthew 5, she knows when you stand for something, you will be persecuted and you will suffer. But she was not worried about suffering. She was worried about failing to bring good name to the church. If that is the criteria that we apply to ourselves every day, by the end of the day, did I bring good name to the church in India? Did I bring a bad name to the church in India? That's a huge question. Very few of us will be able to give a very good answer for that. So the point is, the parameters, I think, is where we are struggling. The success has become the thing. We are running, for example, institutions today, but the 2000 years we were not running only institutions. What a priest has done, what a religious have done 1,000 years ago was different. 500 years ago was different. 100 years ago was different. But today we have gone massively into administrative, managerial mode. So all of our works that we are doing have a different parameters. The parameter of success. Whether you are a parish priest or a principal or a teacher in the 8th class, or whether you are a manager, wherever you are, improved. So that's a very, very tricky parameter. These parameters that are measurable, did the children in the school, have they increased? Have they gone away? Are the financial viabilities? So many parameters are measurables, and we are measuring ourselves by these factors, and then we are defining ourselves. But is that the only way to define our ministry, our identities, our definitions? So how do I define myself as a priest or a religious, and how do I evaluate what I am, what do I do? Is the success only way? Maybe by failure you have brought glory to God, and what you do will be seen, the fruits will be seen once you are no more. Maybe after 50 years, after 100 years. We can still remember that father who was here 50 years ago, he blessed our village. Now how do we have the parameters to know what he did well? It will be much later. So the prayer that I read about this Oscar Romero's, it's in fact by someone else, is that no, the messiahs have parameters. The success is a parameter. It's not, that's wrong. We need to have successful works, and we should have measurables and so many ways to see whether we are improving and plan and execute well. But if we are stuck only with that, we will be very poor in being missionaries and being disciples of Christ. The disciples of Christ can fail, would fail, and maybe it's good that you fail. By failure, you are bringing what Christ wants to bring you. By doing very slowly, there are many ways. The impact and influence is measured by other means. Your goodness. Youth Hand was United Nations Secretary General. He was a school teacher in Burma, Myanmar. Then he became education minister. So at his farewell leaving Burma, going to UN, he gave a speech. He says, if you can be good and able, try to be good and able, children. Otherwise, be good. If you are only able and not good, that's the end of the world. You will ruin the world. Are we preparing able people or good people? It's very difficult to prepare good people because we don't have schools where you prepare good people. But that's how parents were preparing us. So, if you prepare good people and able people, that's the great. They will be builders of the nation and the church. But if you produce only able people, very efficient, fantastic, hardworking, very sincere, all these are great qualities. But if they are not people of integrity, if they are not good, if they have shady sides in them, then they will be they wouldn't be the best to be a priest and religious. So we need people with integrity to be priest and religious. I think for that we have to go to the parameters Francis of Assisi used. To be a fool, to be crazy. I defy the descriptions of the others. I will not allow others to measure my success. The Gospels will tell me whether I am on the right side or on the wrong side, and I will defy the usual worldly parameters. So, it's not again, it's to be able is wrong. Brings bad name to your parents. The biggest thing that you can do is bring good name to your parents and don't bring bad name to your parents. Can we tell to the novices, behave in such a way that you bring good name to the congregation and not bad name to the congregation? That's what we all aspire all the time. But the success bug has bitten all of us somehow or the other. Every day we are measuring ourselves by the efficiency, the number of things that we can do. But we have to get the other parameters. The bug of Francis should bite us. That bug is to be a fool for Christ, to be ready to suffer for Christ, to lose so that I can gain, the prayer, the famous prayer. So all those things are still possible. Stan Swami, I wrote an article on him in Civiltà Cattolica. It was published in many places. Stan became Stan Swami not because he became what he wanted, he became what he did not want. None of us knew Stan Swami if he was given the sippa the day he wanted in the jail. That he went to a jail is nothing unusual. If he was treated well, immediately nobody would have known. Some Jesuits, some lawyers will know. 1 or 2 days we would have known. The country and the world would not have known Stan Swami if he did not suffer. All of us trying to do all that we can so that he doesn't suffer. He did not want to suffer. We did not want him to suffer. But God sent sufferings on his way. Thereby, God's glory shined in him. If he got all that he wanted, if we got bail and we succeeded in getting bail, nothing would have happened. No problem. Nothing would have happened. What Christianity is, the first time in Indian history, 15, maybe every paper in India had Stan Swami on the cover story. Almost the main story. I covered at least 10 papers. From India Today to Frontline, Times of India, Asian Age. All the papers, first news, a Catholic priest has made it. Because of sufferings. He suffered for the people, for the poor, for the Adivasis. So, is that what we wanted? None of us wanted him to suffer. Poor man, he didn't want to suffer. He was waiting to have a little comforts and get out from there. But, so, the parameters are deceptive. The parameters can be very deceptive. We should try in our way, but we should always have an eye, the twinkle in the eye like Francis of Assisi. Maybe success is not the only way that bring glory to God. Failure can bring, and little foolishness can bring, or failures can bring. So I think that's where a novitiate should help us to wrestle with these virtues and the values and the questions. So when we are remembering the 100 years of the novitiate here, and then the novices who came with the great dreams, and one of the biggest thing was to abandon themselves to be what God wants us to become. I think that's the best we can be. To become what God wants us to be. Beyond the measurables, the parameters of the world, including success. So that we will go by the dream that God has for each of us. Rigveda has a nice line. May good thoughts come to us from all directions. Ano badra kratavo yantu vishwataha. It is written on a beautiful place in India. You know where it is written? Parliament. The last place where any good things are coming, good thoughts are coming is the Parliament has that inscribed outside. Ano badra kratavo yantu vishwataha. May noble thoughts come to us from all directions. We open the windows so that it comes. So the windows of our hearts, window of our minds should be opened so that noble thoughts come to us. They may come in the form of success or failure, defeat or a victory. But if it comes from God, that will be the greatest thing that could happen to us. So let's continue to watch that film called Avatar. You began watching it yesterday. Continue to be in that Avatar mode. Enjoy speaking to the birds and the gossip with the birds and the trees and the trunks and the vessels and all those things here. And then may we have these days and these moments, every moment may it become epiphany, a revelation of God's glory to each of us. Thank you.
Thank you for this time. You have made us really un-Franciscans speaking to Franciscans and touching the hearts and heads of each one of us. As St. Ignatius Loyola, the biblical quotation, if you earn the whole world but you have not earned for your soul, you have done nothing. But time has touched and he has given so much of resources that we feel that we are touching everything and he had made us everything good. So thank you, Father, for your inspiring talk, and you have inspired all those who are sitting. Thank you very much. Now it is a time for tea break, and most wanted and most mesmerizing program is awaited. So after the tea, please come back again. Tea is here only. So 5 minutes. 5 o'clock will come back. These days we don't understand what is this and all that, no? So 5 o'clock will come back.
निकालने कैमरा निकाल यहीं से घुमा अरे आ रहे हैं इनको दिखा हाँ वही तो करना करने दो
Tea is here only at the back, so you don't get out from the auditorium.
वहाँ खड़े होने की जगह भी तो बनाऊँ खड़ा भी तो होगा हाँ अरे गिर जाते नहीं बस that is there I think रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर दो ना. सेम चीज़ फादर के पास है उधर फादर यूज़ कर रहे हैं है ना ये जो है ना इसमें सेम ये वो है ये क्या अटैच आती है ये कैमरे को वेबकैम बना सकते हैं कुछ नहीं जो फादर यूज़ कर रहे हैं ना इसमें ये केबल ना ऑलरेडी पहले से अटैच होगा इसमें ये सी टाइप का सिग्नल ना उधर
some photos I can send to my WhatsApp. I can forward our many fathers are not here now, so I can forward some photos.
चलो चलो भाई कभी भेज देते फादर WhatsApp से भेज देंगे
Monastry is now supposed to some of the want for this marquees and some logos and how do you do that? It cannot be done here. No, they run here from here, but we have to feed in that criteria about that. What are using certain uses of This is 18 That's six. Third class can be you have to use this 72 Then sister, then go, sorry, 5 lakh, 60 starting state program सब close हो गई शादी 5 years super cool all of that they want to cap studios अच्छा करने से पहले आओ program ये they have no photo है मेरी old years This one, which version is actually? This one? This is 80. 80. Yeah, only 80. This is also for video. This is for video. Yeah. That's okay. That's short. This one is this one we can use the PS4. Which one? This one. No. XLR we put the XLR when we need the direct audio. It's a one or something. One. It's a battery or something. Small bigger battery.
I'm coming there only.
Half an hour. 1.5 an hour.
I'm living in another house.
इधर घूमो
किसने बोला था
पूछना उधर कर इधर
Welcome back. Once again, good evening, brothers and sisters. Be comfortable now. And so for what we are doing, this is only, as Jesus said, for the greater glory of God. And today for us, we have got a chance. And we got the centenary year. In this centenary year, Brother Marcel Barla, one of the provincial councillors, last week only he said, this is a centenary year. And Brother Raitas has said, one Hindi song. So Marcel said, within 2 days to give, I will compose a song. So this song is composed by Brother Marcel Barla, he's a singer. So we'd like to see his team. There are 2, 3, 4 brothers are coming to the stage. We'd like to welcome them. And this is a very short hymn or song that will help you and me to understand. The language will be in Hindi. But he was telling 1922 and 2022, 100 years. So he tried to give that message in and through his singing. So these 4 brothers belong to St. Fidelis province, North India. They wanted to have a bigger group, but because of some technical reasons, they could not make it. And they have made it possible, only 4 brothers. I hope they can help you to enjoy this evening. So welcome, brothers.
गीतों के बोल से आभार दिल से करे प्रभु का धन्यवाद। गीतों के बोल से आभार दिल से करे प्रभु का धन्यवाद। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद तेरे उपकारों के लिए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद सालों के दानों के लिए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद प्रभु तेरे उपकारों के लिए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद 100 सालों के दानों के लिए। I invite you to join with us at this centenary celebration. गूंजती रहे हर जहां असीसी के सैन फ्रांसिस का संदेश। गूंजती रहे हर जहां असीसी के सैन फ्रांसिस का संदेश। शांति का दूत बन प्रेम की ज्वाला बन दुनिया को सुंदर बनाए। शांति का दूत बन प्रेम की ज्वाला बन दुनिया को सुंदर बनाए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद प्रभु तेरे उपकारों के लिए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद 100 सालों के दानों के लिए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद प्रभु तेरे उपकारों के लिए। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद 100 सालों के दानों के लिए। Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, brothers. These days, in a seminar, in a retreat for the Franciscans, any talk you give or any message you give, we try to interlink with Franciscan message. Marcel has interlinked song Gratitude to God. Final lines he brought out the Franciscan simplicity and perhaps the brotherhood. So thank you, brothers, for your beautiful song. Again, the mesmerizing dancers coming on the stage. Again, the Amistad team. I would like to, at the very outset, like to congratulate the choreographer. He has taken time to make it this song for you and me, this dance for you and me. And see, this dance will be perhaps no comparison what we have seen. I would like to call Damini, a beautiful girl, to make a little bit introduction to this song. Damini man.
Hello everyone, welcome. I hope you loved our first piece and this is the last piece we are having for you. So first I would love to introduce our dance form, which is Kathak. Katha kahe, so Kathik kahave. It means he or she who tells a story is Kathak. So this is not only the name of the dance form, but also the person who is doing it. We are the Kathakars, the storyteller. This dance form is originated from the northern part of the India. As we all know, we have total 8 Indian classical dance forms, so we are presenting Kathak. So the second piece is Tillana. A Tillana is a rhythmic dance piece in the Carnatic music tradition. Today we are going to present Swati Tirunal's popular Dhanashri Tillana with a modern twist. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. These two pieces are possible because of the beautiful efforts and hard work of my teammates. I would love to introduce them. First, Astha Sijalia. Himani Gautam, Parishi Sharma, and Shreya Raghuvanshi. Thank you so much everyone for being a lovely audience. Thank you.
She has introduced everybody. She is Damini. So give a big hand to everybody. So beautiful, mesmerizing dance by beautiful girls. The way they have kept the suspense, putting the parda band, parda on, off. That was again the suspense of the program. So thank you girls. Thank you very much. So on behalf of all of us, we thank you. Now here we go. All is well that ends well. But we are not going to end it up. Now, I would like to call upon Brother John Baptist, General Councillor, to give us the keynote address and help us after all these dances. He may be having a better thought and that he'll be implementing to us. Welcome, Father.
Yes. Very good evening to you all. After, as Brother Herman said, very mesmerizing, beautiful dance performance, I come to share some reflections. To bore you, it's not enough that you have to experience both dimensions. The enjoyable dimension aspect, the pleasant, as a little unpleasant thing, so that it is balancing. I'm here just in front of you. I'm given 40 minutes to present my keynote address, but I try to finish within half an hour. I already introduced this theme yesterday in the Basilica at Shraddha. The historical aspects of dimensions, the history of the beginning of our novitiate in Shraddha. So I begin from there. It's a continuation of that. So my dear priors, Reverend sisters, brothers and sisters in Christ. Of course, when we go, we represent always our General Minister, and he always communicates. He always communicates his wishes to all of you. And may God be praised and glorified together with Immaculate Mother Mary, under whose patronage the order is dedicated to, for the innumerable blessings showered upon this little but deep-rooted plant in the humble yet beautiful garden of the power-in-law from Assisi. Together with Roberto Genuine, General Minister, let's also give thanks to the Lord, the Franciscan Capuchin Catechism is alive in our motherland. We know coming years, couple of years, will be year of centenaries, jubilees for the Capuchin Franciscan order. Franciscans all over the world prepare themselves to celebrate various centenaries of its history, such as the 8th centenary of its rule and the great show event of 1223. the stigmatization of St. Francis Assisi in 1224, his death in 1226, etc. So coming years, we go on to celebrate these important historical events in a Franciscan history and in the history of the Church. The Capuchin Order, all the more, will be commemorating its twin centenary in 2025. 500 years of Franciscan Capuchin Reformation that began from the province of Marche in Italy. It's providential that we celebrate this centenary of the missionary charism of our order by celebrating the centenary of this novitiate at Sardana. Novitiate, as we say, always we say first novitiate Sardana because that was in view of promoting vocation, indigenous vocation. But first novitiate began here, Barlowganj, in this monastery, St. Francis Monastery. It is from here, after 10 years, this novitiate closed down and then shifted to Sardana. We know that. Then from there again to Frankipet for other historical and practical reasons. So it is providential that we celebrate this approval of the rule, centenary of the 8th centenary of the approval of the rule, and centenary of the foundation of our Sardana novitiate. What does it signify? The centenary celebration of our novitiate is a moment to gratefully remember all our pioneer missionaries. I am concentrating on this paper only about this dimension of missionary dimension and charism of our order. They never allowed the flame of our missionary charism to be extinguished, and inspired by them, they are still our senior Capuchin missionaries who continue their legacy, motivating the younger generations of various circumscriptions to respond generously and freely to be missionaries. We also acknowledge the missionary spirit and presence of our young friars who are actively and generously immersed in real mission life and authentically witnessing to the evangelical life both in India and abroad. As Franciscan Capuchins, there is no special vocation to be a missionary, since vocation to mission is integral to our Capuchin religious vocation. In other words, it's not an option, but it's our commitment. In his apostolic exhortation, Evangelii Nuntianti, Pope Paul VI stated that the presentation of the gospel message is not an optional contribution for the Church. It's a duty incumbent on her by the command of the Lord Jesus. Mission is therefore the deepest identity of the Church. Mauro Iori, our former General Minister, writes, "To be a Capuchin is to be a missionary. To be a missionary is intrinsic to our religious vocation." Who then is a missionary? Being a missionary means being someone who brings the gospel for the growth of the kingdom of God. In the strict sense, a missionary is one who sets out for another country culture, language, etc. The third plenary council of our order at Matley states, we are missionaries. The missionary task does not of itself imply a special vocation different from that shared by all the friars. Our constitutions say missionary service as a proclamation of the good news of salvation and as a service to the young churches. The mission imperative is to go out to those who are ignorant of the gospel and also to those abandoned their faith. Our apostolic fraternity is sent not only to areas in which gospel is not known, but also in ambient that necessitate a new evangelization where many baptized have lost in part or totally the sense of their faith. We are reminded today what our Holy Father St. Francis of Assisi wrote 8 centuries ago. Let those brothers who wish by divine inspiration to go among the Saracens, we may not use this word now, but it is his word of his time. Okay. To go among the Saracens or other non-believers, ask permission to go from their own provincial ministers. The ministers, however, may not grant permission except to those whom they see fit to be sent. It's very clear. Missionary option, it's not a vocation. It is gratuitous, it is given, but at the same time, it is up to the discretion of the provincial minister to send, whom to be sent. Padre Pio wished to be a missionary in India, it is said in his biography. He wished to be a missionary in India, but he could never travel due to his ill health. And his provincial minister never permitted him to come to India. And I'm sure his prayer is there. And as we read the history in Sardana, that photo of Our Lady Graces, blessed by the Pope and blessed by Padre Pio. Blessed by Padre Pio. So, missionary dimension which St. Francis of Assisi is emphasizing. Again, St. Francis was the first founder of an order to place mission in his rule. Till then, all religious founders from Benedict onwards were concerned only about their souls, prayer and work. But Francis, that's why he said, the creativity, the originality of Francis, the courage he had to say to the Holy Father, no, I don't want this rule and that rule. I want a rule of my own. Because he did not want a different layers in the order. That is primary reason. Because in the Benedictine rule, we have abbot, we have prior, we have friar. And she said, by vocation, all of us are equal. Whether you are a general minister, whether you are a novice, by vocation, all of us are equal. That doesn't mean, Vishnu Francis himself says, the respect, honor, obedience, everything to be given to the superiors. He doesn't use a superior term, he uses guardians or ministers. Nowhere else we find in our rule or spirituality the term superior. We added it now for the sake of canon law. Otherwise, it's not there in our spirituality. Francis never spoke of a godfather Francis spoke always of a mother and a brother. Be a mother to a brother. Be a brother to a brother. He never asked us to be a father to somebody else. Because father is a logician. Mother is an affection. This is the beauty with which Francis introduced the charisma into the church. And that was the courage of St. Clare, who literally followed the spirituality of St. Francis. There was a lot of pressure on St. Clare to dilute the rule of poverty. Very much pressure. Pope sent a number of delegates, cardinals, to dilute the rule. At the end, she said to the cardinal delegate, go and tell the Holy Father, you cannot change the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. You have no authority. You can confess, you can absolve me from my sins, but not from the observance of the holy poverty of our Lord Jesus Christ. That was the courage of our founding fathers and mothers. This is the charisma we are sharing. So, St. Francis, the first founder of an order, to place this mission in his role. Hence, ours is an apostolic fraternity. It's a missionary and contemplative fraternity. The constitutions of the Capuchin Friars Minor remind us beautifully in the church, all the baptized, and in particular religious, by virtue of their special consecration, are called to live out the grace of evangelization and thereby fulfill the Lord's command, Lord's mandate. The Lord's mandate is to go, proclaim, and baptize. And St. Francis exhorted the friars to go. Inter hereticos, schismaticos et paganos. That is among heretics, among schismatics, and then to pagans. The erudite and saintly Capuchin friars like St. Lawrence of Brindisi, St. Fidelis of Singmaringen, the proto-martyr Propaganda Fide, yesterday I explained that. Propaganda Fide, now that no more Propaganda Fide, now no more congregation, now it is dicasteries. It goes back to the Capuchins. It is because initially the Capuchins, this Propaganda Fide was formed in the church. And the first martyr of the Propaganda Fide is a Capuchin, St. Fidelis Singmaringen. That's why Southern Novitiate was named after him, under his patronage, because it was under Propaganda Fide. Then again, St. Joseph Leonisa and Venerable Anastasius Hartmann. You know him well. Someone connected with our Indian Capuchin history can never forget, whose see was extended, so extensive and vast from Bihar, from Patna to Mumbai. So we have such a beautiful patrimony, heritage, and tradition as Indian Capuchins. It's good to remember. So are some of the examples of such heroic, zealous, and Catholic evangelizers. Our order was permitted to take up this mandate from 1574. Though 1525 we began with the Reformation movement, we were not going out of Italy. We were not permitted. In 1574, that mandate was given, though it was incorporated into the constitutions of 1536. Pope Gregory XIII in 1574 allowed the order, Capuchin order, to settle in France and all other parts of the world and direct houses, places, custodies, and provinces, authorizing its diffusion outside Italy. Brother Bernard Christian of Andermatt, General Minister of the Order from 1884 to 1908, who was almost the second founder of our order, committed himself totally to the renewal of our missions. Thanks to him, mission once again became an essential element of our fraternity, and the order experienced a new bloom. The missionary spirit implies giving up one's life. Often we understand it as sacrificing one's life as martyrs. Without denying that, I would also like to emphasize another aspect of this spirit of giving up one's life. It can also be an invitation to begin a pilgrim journey from one's well-known and familiar land of Ur to the unknown, unfamiliar land of Canaan. It can be a liberation journey from one's land of slavery to a land of freedom, to be the chosen one of God. It's a redemptive way of the cross from one's native place of Nazareth to Jerusalem, the city of the passion, death, and resurrection. Friar Anthony, native of Lisbon, did not become a missionary in a land he wished to preach and evangelize. He could not carry out his mission endeavors the way he designed. He did not die the manner in which he dreamt and longed. He is not even known as Anthony of Lisbon, but Anthony of Padua. I think it defines the missionary nature and charism of one's religious life as a Franciscan. Willingness to give away one's own projects and dreams, one's own ways and means. Instead, submit oneself to God's ways, to the promptings of the divine spirit, and to follow God's route map to go to the land He shows and not of one's own choice. A missionary friar could then say gratefully that he did not execute his own zoomed projects, but it was God's dream being realized as Jesus who did the will of the one who sent him. The cemetery at Barlowganj, where we prayed for the dead this morning after Mass, with a few remaining tombs of elder missionary friars, both foreign and inland, loudly bear witness to this unchangeable truth of God's word. Why I speak it? All of us know as animators, there is much reluctance and resistance and unwillingness to be a missionary. No one wants to go from away from one's own kith and kin. Diamonds, that's the formation you have to give in the novitiate. That's why I am aiming at through this presentation of my paper. Presentation. So it is our responsibility as animators to motivate, as Father Stan was telling us, we have to wrestle with God. Jacob had that in the Old Testament. Jacob wrestled with God. And both had equal power, says Genesis. Both had equal power. But God can never be defeated. And then we read, God gave a kick at his hip. We cannot overtake God. We cannot dictate God. Now our following the Lord, following the way is, we dictate God to come on our way. And we think that is God's way. That's something wrong. That's something wrong. So we need to get into this missionary dimension of the gospel and this evangelical spirit and missionary charism of our order. So, the cemetery at Barlowganj, I repeat that sentence. With a few remaining tombs of elder missionary friars, both foreign and inland, loudly bear witness to this unchangeable truth of God's word. None of them were martyrs by shedding their blood, but they sweat their blood to establish this mission in this land of ours. It must motivate all of us and our young friars in formation. Just as in the Old Testament, Pater Familias narrated to the younger generation the meaning of Pesach, we, the animators of our circumscriptions and the missionary friars, shall not fail in imparting, inspiring, and instructing our future young friars the beauty and meaning of being a missionary and what marvels the Lord has done to the Capuchin order in India through the selfless and self-sacrificing dedication and commitment of our friars. We, the Indian Capuchins, have not neglected this part of our charism and have our own history of the mission and missionary tradition. The missionary spirit and charisma of the order was upheld in the past by the Indian provinces, especially after the bifurcation of one Indian province into 4 units. The southern provinces were engaged in mission endeavors, and the missionary friars served with great fervor and enthusiasm. Consequently, the Capuchin Franciscan Catechism, the order, was implanted in the north and east of India. It's evident in the formation of 2 independent provinces, 2 provincial custodies, and 4 provincial delegations in the north and northeast of India. Once the order had been implanted and deeply rooted in the land, Indian friars were generous enough to serve in various parts of the world in the mission of the church. In addition to the missions in the north, northeast India, southern Capuchin provinces ventured into missions in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and various countries in the continent of Africa, such as Zimbabwe, Burkina Faso, Uganda, Malawi, Namibia, Ghana, Mauritius, etc., to cite a few. Further, the friars from all our circumscriptions are engaged in other forms of evangelization and mission of the order, such as fraternal solidarity and international fraternities of San Lorenzo de Brindisi. We hope that our friars will be having, if God wills, their missionary presence in our neighboring country, Bangladesh, soon, adding it to the 114th in 2023. Right now, we are in 113 countries, Capuchins. The latest in South Sudan. Last January, we opened a new foundation mission in South Sudan. And now another Indian province, St. Thomas, is getting ready to go to Bangladesh. And it's going to be 114th presence there. How strong and ardent in us, among our friars now, to go beyond our own comfort zones, familiar environment and acquaintances, kith and kin, and our own fields like the prophet Elisha. There can be a reluctance today to go to an unknown land and unfamiliar places. If you fail to impart this missionary charism and charismatic dimension of our Capuchin religious vocation to the formees, both in initial and ongoing formation. Of course, we have to face the challenges, believing in the words of Jesus, I am with you always until the end of time. The first Capuchins expressed their unconditional trust in God by embracing insecurity, moving from place to place, living far from the cities in order to immerse themselves in prayer and contemplation. May this centenary celebration help us to revivify our missionary charism and give right orientation and motivation to our brothers in the novitiate formation, so that the future of the order be blessed with a vibrant, self-sacrificing missionary friars. May Brother Francis and Sister Claire of Assisi intercede for us. Thank you.
Once again, let us thank and congratulate Brother John Baptist. Once again, giving a big hand to him. There is a quotation and everybody likes that. Give the world the best and the best will come back to you. Give the world the best and best will come back to you. As a leading personality, Brother John Baptist, Counselor, General Counselor for India. His talks made us to think little, to go beyond, like missionary dimension and charism. Most of the time we are talking and talking, but most of the time individual prayers may be going beyond. Community level perhaps requires to take the challenge. Therefore, Father has tried to give the touching message on missionary dimension. The vocation and mission is to be integrated, is to be taken care of. Therefore, mission is the deepest identity of the church itself. And at the end, he was trying to give us the message, missionary and contemplative dimension that God commands. Go to the whole world, preach the good news to everybody. And finally, he was giving the touching word that in how many countries we are working in, and that the command of God, maybe 130 is not so. The friars committed to go beyond where no friars go, no missionaries go. Perhaps there are Franciscans. I include all the Franciscans. Especially today we are talking about the Capuchins. Where no one wants to go, perhaps the Capuchin missionaries are going. Therefore, the last word, Bangladesh, Father was touching. Again, this is again a touching message. So thank you very much for John Baptist giving the message from coming from down from Rome to India, and all these messages perhaps given to the whole world. And what is the picture of India? Brother John Baptist is giving to them, to us, and to the society. So thank you very much for John Baptist. With humble heart, I congratulate you also for the confidence, the way you have spoken, that is to be taken care of. Not only words, but the action you made, that also touches our hearts. Thank you very much. So my dear brothers and sisters, in Hindi it is called Mere Pyare Bhai aur Bahno. Little more touching. When we talk about our own touching language, local language, it may be touching hearts. So either English we speak or Hindi or Pahari Kumaoni, wherever we are in the missionary field, most of the time perhaps we try to say, learn the language of the place, and the people will be mad after you, whether you are from London or Germany or from any corner of the world. As a missionary, if you are touching the hearts and heads with their language, dialect, then perhaps we are real missionaries. That's the message I got from Father John Baptist. Here we go. Now there is a skit by the regents of Krishna Jyoti province and Prem Jyoti custody, written and directed by Father Doyal of Prem Jyoti custody. How they are going to show, what is the theme, this is to be kept in suspense. It is simply because They are Franciscans. Only you were the guesswork. Maybe Francis may be hanging here and there. They may be acting that only. Maybe perhaps the same. So let us hope and wait what exactly it is. Thank you very much.
ठीक है.
Check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check.
Hello, check.
Check. Hello, check. Hello, check.
Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, hello. Hello, check, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check.
Okay, audience, इंतजार की घड़ी लंबी होती है. But let us hope, because you hear some little whispering words. So here we go.
Check. Hello, check.
Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check.
A journey to remember. The whole human civilization marks its progress with its journey, be it migration or trade. Today, while we embark to remember the memory of our first novitiate in Indian subcontinent, we would like to remind you of a journey of a few people in time and space, and moreover within their thoughts. Always, a journey begins with an inspiration, a curiosity, and above all, following an instruction. Do you serve the master or the slave? Do you serve the master or the slave?
I had that same voice. I had that same voice. Leo. Leo. I had that same voice. Leo. I had that same voice. It's pestering me.
Francis, it's too much. We have been traveling for a week in the ship.
hardly to fill our stomach. Without even a drop of water. It's quite natural to hear the voice, Francis. Leo, I heard the voice of the Lord. Voice of the Lord? Tell me, Father, what it is. Dear Leo, when I was at the Valley of Spoleto, Lord spoke to me. Do you serve master or slave? Now as we are reaching Dalmatia, the same voice is repeating within me whenever I close my eyes. I am also feeling the same. Whenever I close my eyes, the fear is creeping in me. The stories of war is killing me. Why are we going to the same place instead of going to Jerusalem? And Father, you have promised me to the Holy Land. And now you have taken me to war, friend. Dear you, obedience is our way. Holy Father Pope Honorius has given us the instructions to preach the crusades and to encourage them. Later on, Leo, our brothers will travel across this land and preach the gospel. Yesterday there were some sailors who arrived here in the ship. By tomorrow we would anchor in Dalmatia. And we have taken the ports, and now it is easy for us to enter the city and defeat the infidels there. But Francis, I have a doubt. Why are we attacking Dalmatia in Egypt instead of taking over Jerusalem? Dear Leo, I have no idea of warfare. All I know is to see the love of God in others. Here too, we would be able to do our part as instruments of God. Let us go to sleep, Leo. It will be a busy day from tomorrow. Good. When you feel sleepy, the discussion is over. How will I sleep with all this hunger and thirst? Oh Lord, give me the strength to go forward without food for today. The whole thing, and this time we have suffered with a lot of losses. Many of our soldiers have died, many are wounded, many are sick, and our hopes is draining out. We cannot go on with this statement. We must withdraw and reinforce ourselves, thus to regain the confidence.
I know, Oliver. I know things are bad. We need some help. The good news is, Cardinal Pelagius will be arriving today with supplies. And the bad news is, he will definitely interfere in our strategy. My genuine option would be for truce, but I don't know what could be his opinion.
Truce with those Saxons. How, my lord? Truce! It will spoil the spirit of war.
Oliver, it has been years since we have begun this battle. The fifth one indeed, and this is second crusade. How long shall we weigh this war? How long this animosity? How many should bleed and die till this gets over? For the past 12 years, you all were living and trading in peace. And suddenly, we have begun this battle. And I am tired of killing.
But my lord, we had a victory here in Danyata under your leadership.
What victory, Oliver? What victory? We just took the port and established our camp. But it becomes victory only when we could reach the floodgates of River Nile. After all, if they open the floodgates, we all are doomed.
I started my journey with my knights to reclaim the holy land of Jerusalem. But here I am now in Egypt, fighting for wealth instead of God. But I believe both are wrong.
My lord, Colonel Claudius has arrived.
God's blessing to you, John and Oliver. What is our position, John? When can we enter the city?
My lord, we have taken the walls of the port. We have taken the market and the warehouses and the fertile plain of River Nile, but yet to enter the city.
John, it has been 6 months since I received this news. After that, we don't have any progress.
Lord, the city is hard to defeat. They are reinforcing day in, day out. Moreover, they have a lot of supply arriving from Syria and Baghdad. We are waiting for the right moment to breach the city and for the promised help from the Pope.
I am the promisor. I have brought in 200 knights and supplies for 3 months. Now, we attack with all that you have and defeat the Saracens.
My lord, we could have a truce with them, which could be utilized to reinforce ourselves. According to our spies, the enemies are even ready for negotiation. We could get a good deal out of it.
Truce! Blasphemy! Are you not ashamed to utter that word? Ask those spies for, look for the weaknesses and plan for the attack as early as possible. The true cross which we hold will bear witness to this war, and we will have the whole of Egypt with its riches and resources, and with all the money that we have, we will march towards Jerusalem. The coming generations will sing ballads in my name. Villages, the Redeemer of Jerusalem. Villages, the Redeemer of Jerusalem.
My lord, we have brought in preachers who seek your blessings to go towards the crusade camp to preach.
Bring them in. God's blessing to you, my dear children. You all are here to proclaim the words of encouragement. Now, I send you to the camp. Go and fill their minds with your words. The next battle is important for us.
My lord, I have a request.
What is it, my son?
My Lord, I seek your prayers and blessings to go to that enemy camp and preach the message of repentance, that the merciful Lord may change their hearts and convert them.
What? Have you lost your mind? Who are you?
My Lord, I am Francis, an instrument of God. I wish to go to that enemy camp, just like Gospel says. I would be like that sheep, sent to horseback of wolf, preaching the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ.
I do not ask people who are out of their mind. My son, I give my blessing to you. Go and fulfill the will of God. Tomorrow, this fool will go to our enemy camp, and his head will be rolling down to the river, and we will have another martyr, and we will have the rivers, and we will fight with the wicked, and we will have victory. Francis, have you lost your mind? Are you going to the enemy camp?
Leo, can't you see the suffering of the people? They are tormented by the war. They lost their hope. How will I preach them? I want to end this war. If God give me a chance, I will be able to preach the message of love to the king there.
Francis, we are just travelers. If you would happen to be near the camp, they would kill us. Have you lost your mind, Francis? Who are we to preach to the Celestial?
Leo, whom should I serve? The master or the slave? Still here, I can hear that voice, Leo. Still, I can hear that voice.
Francis, who ventured alone into the enemy camp, was caught by the guards. Hearing his demand and seeing his attire, they took him to the pashas of the Sultan. They could recognize something different in him, so they took him to the Sultan, Malik al-Kamil.
Your Highness, here is the prisoner whom we got from our camp. Peace and joy be with you, dear king. He is not your king, but the king of kings, Sultan Malik al-Kamil, the protector of the people and a terror to the enemies. Now pay your obeisance.
You seem to look like one.
I come with a message of love from God.
Love? When it's this war? I am the nephew of Salahuddin, the Redeemer of Jerusalem. I have seen streams of blood flowing down the hill of Jerusalem. Word for word, a temporary fame, a victory at the expense of thousands of lives. But today, here I am to protect my people. That's my love. During this war.
But I wish to bring love amidst hatred. Hope on which people could come upon. The torments of war made me what I am today. I don't want to see our people suffer. Can he not bring an end to it?
Dear Sufi, a single reed of glass can't stop a raging sandstorm.
But a single reed of grass can spread across this land, and it could calm this sandstorm.
I love this wisdom. I love this wisdom. I wish God understood it. Anyhow, I am negotiating for a peace treaty with the Crusaders. Meanwhile, you can enjoy our hospitality. Get the Sufi the best you can provide. It's time for my prayer. You may join us if you will.
The encounter between Sultan and Francis has been the subject of much embellishments in the pages of history, so it is hard to discern the events. However, it is recorded that Francis stayed with the Sultan for more than 2 weeks, by which the Crusaders conquered a major portion of the city of Damietta and began a time of debauchery, loot, and abuse. This hastened the desire of Francis to leave the camp. He received the necessary papers from Sultan Malik Al-Kamil, which guaranteed safe passage through the Muslim lands to Jerusalem and eventually back to Assisi.
My lord, what is your decision on the proposal from Sultan?
No, I will never negotiate with them. It seems to be a good proposition from them. The Sultan is already offering us the whole of Jerusalem and the neighboring states in return of our withdrawal from the battle.
And I believe that we have achieved our goals here. Let us accept this proposal and avoid further bloodshed.
Are you not ashamed? We are here to wage war, to kill and eliminate our enemies. We go according to my plan, conquer the whole of Egypt, fill our purse, then move towards Jerusalem.
But my lord, we should accept this proposal. Even though we had a victory, our losses are immense. We have lost half of our troops and not even reached the floodgate. As per my estimate, we would run out of food within 2 weeks.
Moreover, we have to take a lot of our wounded soldiers back to Europe. No, I don't want here any excuse. We accumulate from all the cities in Dalmatia. Now, it is the attack with just fell Jericho fall before great Joshua with all of that. The whole of Jerusalem fall before me. The whole of Jerusalem.
My lord, it seems impossible to convince him. According to our spies, the enemies have strengthened their position beyond the floodgates. They even have supplies from Syria. You know it, Lord. They have an advantage.
If the devil has entered into the holy places, even reason will never save us. Only prayer, Oliver, only prayer can save us. Let us pray for a miracle and try to conquer the city. Hope Cardinal would change his mind.
My lord, we are doomed. They've opened the floodgates and our camps are flooded. We have lost our supplies and our boats are useless because of the mud.
Where is Cardinal Pelagius?
We have taken him to the port.
Order our troops to withdraw to the port. Take only what is necessary. The safety of our troop is important. Oliver, come, let us move out before the water reaches here.
In the confusion that followed, the Crusaders had to flee the city with only what they could carry. They lost all the money and goods they conquered. They lost all the food they had. And in the pages of history, we read that the soldiers of Sultan fed the crusading troops for weeks. The culmination of the 5th Crusade unfolded with these events. Meanwhile, Francis was on his inward journey. You should come back to the camp and wait and strengthen the warriors.
No, Francis. It's not Pelagius, but the opportunity that we hold is the master. We should capture that moment and live it.
Francis, use this moment and create a history. In the frame of vengeance, you imagine the good that is possible by capturing these lands.
It's still not late, Francis. Travel back and inspire the warriors. With your fame and name, we could create a great force to recapture the land where Jesus lived.
We must defeat him. The rivers are drying out and the floodgates open. One more attack, one last attack can bring him down.
Mussoorie, we are here to create a fraternity in our own way. Your presence and words is a small step. Your small beginning could be a giant leap for generations to come.
Oh dear brothers, our religious identity should enlighten us. Why are we trained and praised to see the difference? Why can't we be rooted in peace and defend the values of mutual understanding? We could have stopped all this bloodshed if we had the openness to dialogue. We still can dialogue.
Yes, I am still in search of our master in my given situations. We should embark
in our inward journey and discern. Whom are we serving? The master or the slave?
So once again, congratulations to these regents. A special credit goes to for Skylark, Provincial of Krishna Province, and writers, Prem Jyoti, custody, for training these regions, and the writer, Padoyal, Prem Jyoti, custody. So once again, give a big hand to these. Yes. Before we began this skit, I said this program will be in suspense. Sultan asked Francis, "Who are you?" Answers, "Francis." I hope my skit is clear. So with this clarity and good message, to be a good missionary, perhaps brothers have done very well. Here we go. So all the region brothers are expected to be on the stage, and Brother John Baptist, General Councillor, has to award them. Some reward is expected, but he has to award them. But certain things are to be kept in mind. They should be encouraged, including the Sultan also. So, Brother John Baptist. Now, brothers who are in side clothes, to receive award, they require little good clothes. So, wherever we go for some presentation, things are done like this. So we expect our brothers to be in good dress, so that General Councillor will be happy enough, not in the side cloth. Till then, be with us and bear with us for this little time. And I hope you will do that. Now, Brother John Baptist will not go down now. Rarest of the rare case, Brother Carol, you are expected on the stage. Just welcome. We are welcoming you. Come on the stage and you'll go down. We would like to see your face. So many of us have not seen Thank you, brother, for coming us. On behalf of all the provincials present here, and Brother John Baptist, he is our General Councillor. So give a big hand to brother. Good evening, brother. Now, regional brothers are ready and they are coming. So all of you come on the stage. They have done very well, excellent and fantabulous. So, to encourage them, this is a token of love for this great year, so-called, as the brother Stan said, 100 years of flowers. Thank you, Brother John Baptist. Now may I request suspense. Father Sky Lord George, Provincial Minister of Krishna Jyoti Province, to speak the words of wisdom. Father Skylark. Dear Father, Brother John Baptist, the General Councillor, World Embassy, CCMI President, Brother George is not here, the Superior of Fraternity, and Principal Joseph is not here, and Brother Karen has arrived. We are so happy to see you here at this time. And dear brothers and sisters, I am not here to propose the vote of thanks. I am here to tell you that you should remain few more days with us. Some more time with us. Because we all have come to experience that fraternal life. Even today, few of the fathers arrived from Punjab, from Rajasthan. Tomorrow being Sunday, they have mass, but somehow they made the arrangement and they have come here. It is
to tell that the provincials and delegations and all the fathers from India, they are come. We are very happy to have you here. Remain few more days with us. If you have booked a ticket, then another way is that send you from your province, Mother Friars here, stay with a few more months and explore the beauty of North India, and have the nature, the wonder of the creation of God, the nature, the beauty, and explore. Meanwhile, God will touch us. The change comes, the renewal comes, the transformation comes if only God touches. So let us pray that continue to be here in North India is beautiful, and we, the President of the province, is very happy to have you here. And we all were happy that all the provincial represented our General Councillor and all the provincials are here. We are very happy. So don't go, remain. If you are booked, again you can send your own brothers to this province to explore the North India, Punjab, Rajasthan, all these places. So we are coming to the close of the centenary celebration. This was God-given opportunity given to us to thank Him for the way He was planned with the Capuchin order in India. Yesterday and today we all recollected this great plan, made a journey to the past, remembered the persons who toiled over it, and we thank them fully, cheerfully, and dedicate ourselves to see again and live again the Capuchin life, the charism authentically. This was made possible through the meaningful celebration of the centenary of the establishment of our order in India, reflecting the life of the friars lived in the past. The monastery at Barlowganj is a beautiful place given to us to explore and to live and make our life more meaningful coming years. And Father John Baptist, the General Councillor, has enlightened on us the glorious tradition of the past that we have. The Capuchin India, starting from Sardana, and he has done extensive research work in this history. And the history before us is his address. We are grateful to you, Father, for your constant guidance and support and for your valuable contribution to this celebration. We thank you. Perhaps the most nourishing intake we had in this day was the section of Stay in Allah. He took a lot of pain to give his view, and I think he more than a Jesuit, I think a Franciscan in Jesuit. And we were together with Yajodi for 3 years. We were the classmates, and we know each other. He's more of a Franciscan in his life and in his thoughts. Thank you. Stand Allah for your presence here. The words are inadequate enough to thank dear brothers of St. George community. Your two brothers are Superior Joju and Baiju, and we have brothers Patricia St. George community. It is not a two community, I feel it is like a one community. Give and take, we normally say, but here we don't give, we take. That's what normally happens. But they are so much being with us. It is not a separate community, it is the same community. So that much love, affection, and sharing, and they are so generous towards us. Really, we feel happy to be always here, and the principal and the Superior Father George and Principal Joseph and Karen was always here. She has moved on to Dehradun, but his mind and heart is here, and our collaboration, love, friendship is very much present. Thank you, brothers, for all your contribution given to us. We always take, but we give with a grateful heart. We acknowledge your contribution to our brothers. And we have seen the skit of our brothers. These are the brothers from Jyoti Study and Krista Jyoti together. Just few days they have come and they practiced. And within a short time they could bring out something great All credit goes to our director and the artist. He's the artist too and the director and writer. So congratulations to Doyle for your time and energy you have spent on art. And we have seen that dance, the artists who came, it is their passion to dance. They are well qualified. One is a lecturer, other is a school teacher, and they are well employed. But it is a passion that made them to dance, the art. That's called artist. We do have that same passion. We should have a passion to do God's love, evangelized, to bring that love of God to our brethren if we have that passion. So they have employed well, but they have the passion to dance. Coming from Delhi and they dance and they left. It's what made them to dance, what made them to come here. It is their passion to dance. It's an art. Therefore I thank them for traveling from here, from Delhi to here, and they just entertained us. And always we have to thank all what we have today here with the collaboration of brothers, partition brothers and church community, and our brother Joju and Baiju. And they were working very hard to make this day so beautiful. Everything is not over, there is something more to come. All this house surrounding today's function and everything, they have done it. Wonderfully they have cherished all what they did it. With joyfully, they have done everything to us to make this a daily celebration, an excellent one. They have done their heart and mind to do it. So I thank them personally, along with our partition brothers of St. George community. Together they could do everything, all these facilities, the art, the labor, the employee staff, everything is given to us today to make this day a wonderful. Thank you. And all this program really arranged by the CCMSI, the president, Martin. He has directed us to do it. So I'm really happy that he has given job to us to welcome all the friars here. And it was through his direction we have been doing it. And the main fathers who involved in are the Reiters, Herman, Brother Gaurav, Brother Solomon and Alvin. They were working behind this, picking up the friars from the railway station, from the airport, and bringing here. And being 2 days together, we traveled. That's the reason I said, don't go immediately, remain with us few more days. Still, continue to remain with us. It is very joyful to be with you. Your presence really enriched us. If not, then you send your own brothers from your province, let them stay here a few more months and explore the beauty, the nature, and let God touch each one of us, renew our life to be reformed and to be transformed. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Skelak. As he said, of the guidance of Brother John Baptist, General Councillor and CCMSI President, whatever we could do, and locally, he was a mastermind to help us, writers and me, to do this, to do that, and more or less, perhaps, we have succeeded. If failed, we will be apologizing, but we will be improving soon very fast. So thank you, Father Sky, for your beautiful words and wisdom. Vote of thanks. May I request Brother Walden Rodriguez, Provincial Minister of St. Anthony's Province, Goa, and President of CCMSI. Welcome, Father. It's nice to be here on the top of the hill. It's nice to celebrate our brotherhood. It's nice to recollect memories that touch your heart. It's nice to celebrate the centenary of our novitiate. Though we have not seen those proud moments, reliving them today is meaningful. Because they were the source of life that brought all of us here. It is because of they we are. And this beautiful thing that we are will help us to move ahead with renewed thoughts, with renewed vigor, to spread the color brown all throughout India. Having these sentiments of joy, I would like to thank our General Minister who gave a beautiful message on our presence in India. Our growth and our life that should be inspiring, thus helping us to grow in our vocation. I thank our General Councillor, John Baptist, who is the backbone behind all the beautiful things that happen in our brotherhood. That motherly concern that he shows to all of us helps us not only to walk, but run to do things with all gusto. I thank all the major superiors who are my extended hands, who through this conference we see that we grow and that we are witnesses. We try to be St. Francis of Assisi at every nook and corner that we tread. I especially thank the think tank of this centenary celebration, Brother Skylark, Ritus and Herman, the brains behind this celebration. After we discussed in our CCMSI meeting, they were the ones who came together and saw that it was beautifully planned. Though the pandemic stopped us last year to celebrate this event, this year nothing could stop us in celebrating our brotherhood. And I thank the Lord for this beautiful moments where we could share and treasure each other's joy. I also thank Gaurav and Albin. Both these brothers were on their feet. They really did a lot of work in seeing to the comfort of all the brothers. I thank the guardians of the Dasna communities, Father George William and P.A. Joseph and all the brothers living over there. I also thank Jojo and Baiju of Barlowganj, Mussoorie community for making us feel at home. We never felt strangers over here. Perhaps, as Kyla said, it's nice to be here. These were beautiful, treasured moments that we'll never forget. We also thank Bishop Ignatius Mascarenes and the administrator Valerian Pinto for helping us to celebrate the Eucharist at Sardana. The touching moment of today's was the keynote that was given by Father John Baptist, the peak of the celebration. And that was immediately followed by a beautiful skit which was scripted by Doyle and those brothers, Regents who acted over here. It just took
centuries back to understand what exactly Francis was thinking. Getting those precious moments back here on stage was nothing but brainstorming and heart-touching. Thank you, dear brothers, for this beautiful performance. I thank the choir who, through their angelic voices, helped us in the Eucharistic celebration. And I thank all of you gathered over here for your presence. You added joy to this celebration. God bless you, and thank you one and all.
Thank you, Brother CCMSI President. You have thanked each and one and all, each and everybody, very personally with your touching words. In the transfiguration scene, there is a scene. When the transfiguration has taken place, one tent is for you, one tent is for you, and one tent is for you and for me also. So all these tents, how nice to be here. After the great celebration of the centenary year, as we are concluding, I think let us begin now. So far we have done nothing, as Francis says. So this transfiguration scene also depicts that all the circumscription, all the provincial and major superiors have come here. Let us the tents be in each province, so that we may be a happy brothers. And so, as many of us expressed, as President also expressed about this skit, it should give a new input to live our life and to the full. Therefore, again the Bible quotation, love one another as I have loved you. Let our circumscription be of that category whereby we can understand one another better and clear, again for the greater glory of God as Franciscan Capuchins. Thank you, well-wishers sitting here and all present here, especially all those who are. Thank you very much. You have inspired us by sitting here. You have encouraged us by looking at all these programs. Our brothers, Capuchin brothers, who have given the message in and through their paper presentation or the skit, and our father Stanley S.J. has really touched the hearts. Hope the message he has given, each one of us should carry in our hearts and heads and minds before we return to our own home country. So my dear brothers, let us be prepared now for the final hymn, and this is sung by the regents of Krishna Jyoti and Prem Jyoti. Thank you.
Channel of your peace, and every sacred let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord, and where there's doubt through faith in you. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace, where death is sparing life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only shining light, and where there's sadness, ever joy. be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul.
Thank you, brothers. And this is a nice ending. Now our program is over. This morning we have begun the Holy Eucharist, thanking God. So also now, this is only an information for each one of us. Fireworks are church portico. Firework are church portico. We began there and will end it there also. After the second phase, agape in the auditorium. This is only an information. Just let us follow. Thank you. Firework begins sharp at 7:30 because young and old it takes time to walk there, meet, each one say hello and cello and walk. Lot of information. Dinner at sharp 8. Everything very sharp. Now proceed to